All right, buddy, what's going on? We're going to talk a little bit about the Great Khali, real name Dalib Singh Rana, something along those lines. Of course, this is one of the biggest guys you're ever going to see in professional wrestling or in anything else for that matter. This guy was huge, is huge. 7 foot one, about 400 pounds, real broad guy. Was actually a champion bodybuilder back in the day. But one of the things about Khali that most of us have noticed or did notice was that his knees were kind of starting to bow in. His legs were looking pretty small, and he was walking with a limp. Now, in 2005, the Great Khali had knee surgery to try and repair his knees, and of course, it did not go so well. And this is just one of those things that you see with a lot of these real big, tall guys. Now, he suffers from acromegaly, which is pituitary gland producing. It's like a tumor on the pituitary gland where you produce too much growth hormone. And it was an issue. He did have the tumor removed not too long ago. So he is semi-cured, if you will. But his legs, his size, gigantic size, you can see in this picture, the thinness of his legs these days. Gigantic size, you can see his knees bowing in at this point. And of course, in his wrestling days, he always kept his legs covered up because, quite frankly, they were not on par with his upper body due to knee issues and botched knee surgeries. This is him back in the day, a champion bodybuilder. You can see his legs were actually quite impressive. Can you imagine this guy jacked up like he is in this pic? His at 7 foot one must have been incredibly impressive. Here's another pic. Back in the day when he started out. Dalip Singh, I can't pronounce his name, help me out. Here he is, actually bigger than the giant. Of course, the giant's legs are much, much larger, and the giant from front to back's a larger dude. But nevertheless, this shows you the true impressive nature, the size of this guy. Of course, remember him in the Longest Yard remake. He absolutely dwarfed Bob Sapp, who was a gigantic individual as well. So just a giant man. Here's Kevin Nash. Now Kevin Nash, same kind of deal. Legs atrophy. When you get that big, a lot of these guys over like 6'10", these ex-athletes had a couple surgeries on their knees. The knees are never quite the same. You see this a lot. They just atrophy down, and really, there's not a whole lot these guys can do about it. Here he is in the beginning. Pretty impressive looking individual. Just had to have been a complete monster walking down the road. But you can see the early signs of these knees bowing in and the trouble on the horizon. A lot of this, of course, caused by his gargantuan size and his condition. But nevertheless, this guy was one of the most impressive guys in the ring. Here's dwarfing Kane. Kane is a massive guy, and he looks like a doughboy compared to the Great Khali. Here he is next to a cricket team captain. Shows the overall size. And now he actually is an instructor, a wrestling instructor. And one of the things I didn't know about the Great Khali, but back in 2001 in training, he actually killed a guy, did a move on him. The guy suffered a concussion, and he was allowed to keep training. And he died from his injuries training in the ring with the Great Khali. And his family was awarded a nice chunk of change for that, as they should be. The Great Khali, again, probably wouldn't have those knee problems. I can only imagine what kind of because he was obviously walking with a limp, slow. If he'd have been at his peak level, simply would have been one of the most impressive professional wrestlers ever. And he certainly was one of the most imposing.